This is Valley News Live at noon.
It is chilly and cloudy out there today, and snow is expected for much of our area. Meteorologist Lisa Green joins us right away today with what we can expect tonight and tomorrow. Hey, Lisa.
Well, good afternoon. We are looking at some conditions that are going to get more wintry out there. They've already started for some of us. We have a first alert weather day today and tomorrow. And taking a look around on our DOT cams, you can see a wide variety of situations here. In Warroad, we had some snow earlier this morning. It's quieted down, but there's still some snow coating those grassy surfaces. And look at the bottom left, Highway 32 west of Cavalier. It's a sea of white, and it looks like we do have some snow on the road there. Up in Thief River Falls, we've got some wet road surfaces there. It looks like we've been seeing a little bit of snow and or rain. And in Morton, down in the southern end of the valley, we've got standing water from the last round of rain and still some rain coming down in that area. And here's a look at your latest radar loop. You can see we've got snow working its way through places like Grand Forks and up into northeastern North Dakota specifically. These are scattered, so it's not affecting everyone. It's kind of quiet right now in Fargo. You can see plenty of snow north of the border there. Visibility a lot lower in places where we're getting the precipitation, less than a mile in some places up north. You can see in Grand Forks, even with a few flakes, it's not sticking just yet. And we'll continue to see temperatures above freezing for most of the valley. Once we drop, that's when we'll see more areas of accumulation. And we'll talk about that coming up here in just a couple of minutes.
We'll stay tuned with you as well to find out when it's happening here as well. I see Grand Forks, it is starting a little bit. So thanks, Lisa. Well, with our temperatures warming up, we know it's only time before severe thunderstorms come back to the valley, and we need to be prepared for when they hit. Now, you always want to have a safety plan ready. If you are home, find the safest area away from windows while adding as many walls as you can between you and outside. If you're driving, find your nearest shelter or structure away from all that flying debris. Your car is never a safe place to be with that severe weather. Many people feel you can use an underpass or overpass for protection, but this is a myth as they act as wind funnels and increases that wind volume. Our weather team always prepares you days in advance for that severe weather.
You should have multiple ways to get that warning just in case. So, we always recommend that NOAA weather radio with the backup batteries. That way, if you lose power, you're still getting the warning. But also, I know we always tout our First Alert weather app, but it really is a great tool. We all have our cell phones with us.
Now, a reminder, always have a survival kit. This should include water, food, medicine, change of clothes, documentations, full tank of gas, and fully charged cell phone. Make sure to always know the difference between a warning and a watch. A watch is planning as a warning is happening now. Well, protests erupted against police Sunday in Minneapolis when an officer fatally shot a young black man after stopping his vehicle for a traffic violation. It happened about 10 miles from where George Floyd died and where testimony in the Derek Chauvin murder trial is entering its third week as the prosecution prepares to wrap up its case. NBC's Gutierrez reports.
Overnight, outrage boiling over in Minnesota. With tensions already high during the Derek Chauvin murder trial, now new anger sparked when a police officer fatally shot a black man Sunday during a traffic stop in Brooklyn Center, a Minneapolis suburb just 10 miles away from where George Floyd was killed. Police say the man had a warrant out for his arrest, and when officers tried to take him into custody, he got back into his vehicle. Then one officer shot him. Relatives identify the man as 20-year-old Dante Wright and say that after he was shot, Wright drove several blocks before crashing his car.
He said they pulled him over because he had air fresheners hanging from his hair.
Frustration mounting quickly.
Dante, he was a good kid, and just like George Floyd, it doesn't matter what you do, you don't deserve to be murdered.
Police and activists facing off at the scene.
We have been tracking both shots fired and break-in calls in Minneapolis.
Authorities say there were reports of rocks and other objects thrown at officers, as well as shots fired near the police department, prompting the deployment of more National Guard members to a region already on high alert. Minnesota's governor tweeting overnight, "Our state mourns another life of a black man taken by law enforcement." It all comes as the prosecution is now preparing to rest its case against Chauvin as early as today.
Floyd has this great, deep Southern voice.
The jury already hearing from 35 witnesses over 2 weeks, including unprecedented testimony from police officers breaking the blue wall, Also, medical experts insisting George Floyd did not die just because of drugs and underlying medical conditions, as the defense has argued.
There's no evidence to suggest he would have died that night, except for the interactions with law enforcement.
Floyd's family is now bracing for another emotional week in a case the world is watching.
This has been a very difficult time, especially these past couple of weeks. So we are just grateful for everybody that's here to support us.
It's not clear how many witnesses the defense will call once the prosecution wraps up. Well, firefighters were called to a fire last night at or near the scene of last month's arson in downtown Fargo. The call came in just before 10 about flames at 92 NP Avenue. Fire crews say they found fire in a large shed behind the old Mid-America Steel building near the river. There's no word yet from Fargo Fire about the cause of this fire or if it's in any way connected to last month's arson. Now, firefighters got a call back on March 22nd about a fire at the old steel plant that was on fire. They spent all night there, putting out what was described as a stubborn fire. Fargo's fire marshal labeled it arson, and investigators later identified 3 people as suspects. Well, during the early stages of the pandemic, opioid overdoses increased by nearly 40%, and that's according to the CDC. And now a Detroit Lakes woman is using her creativity to fight back. She's starring in a short film that dives into the realities of addiction. After losing her cousin to an opioid overdose, she said it's a message too important not to share.
If they can't see it through the lens of addiction, they can see it through the lens of love, because it's also a love story. And we can get swept off our feet by love, just like we can get swept off our feet by addiction, right? And unfortunately, sometimes you don't end up in the best places.
If you'd like to watch the trailer or show your support, we have links on our website. Download the VNL News app. You can find the story on our homepage. Well, tonight, Dilworth City leaders will consider a proposal to limit the number of pets people living in each household can have through a microchipping program. The proposal calls for no more than 4 or more dogs or cats, or a combination of both. We will be at tonight's meeting and will bring you the latest tonight on Valley News Live. Well, coming up, more and more people are getting vaccinated, but health experts are still showing some concerns. What you need to know is still ahead at noon. And the potential of snow increases. Let's find out when we can find out that snow. Up next with meteorologist Lisa Green.